Okay, now, what you have there is confusion. I mean, if you're really going to enact and say that all of these are real viable categories, even in Brazil, of racial categories, and which means what? I mean, that's the question. What will that mean? That when one person walks in a certain door, I mean, that person's supposed to be treated this way on account of their special privileges or special non-privileges. I mean, and you do the same thing with the categories of the genders, and then you have about 200 or 300 different types of genders. Because you can very easily do that. You can balloon this thing. You already have, 5 basic ones now that are already recognized. Well, if you got 5, what about 10? And I say, since the water's already over the dike, you might say, it's already over the dam on this gender thing, you can't put that toothpaste back in the bottle. At this point, I don't think, in my own opinion. So I just say add one, and that's called a counter-racist gender. You have a counter-racist sexuality. In other words, your mind is supposed to be attached to your sexuality, because that's what everybody's saying. It's all in the mind. Sexuality is not just in the body, it's also in the mind. So if my mind tells me that I should have interactions in my sexuality based on my counter-racist, tendencies, being against racism, which is a natural instinct for a victim of racism, then I can ask for special recognition for being a counter-racist, a bona fide counter-racist sexual. In other words, and that would qualify me, which is what I'm saying. This is what I'm pushing now. That would qualify me to say that my sexuality, if it's counter-racist, that's a category that's different. And I have counter-racist sexuality. And that counter-racist sexuality, I will make the rules, just like all the other genders now are making their rules, and ask that they be enforced and be recognized. And, when I come around and say that I'm a counter-racist, I have my own sexuality, in other words, non-white male with non-white female, because ultimately we want to be universal male with female. We have an ultimate goal that's different from the ultimate goal probably of a whole bunch of other people, particularly the racists who have their goals. So you have a counter-racist sexuality. You have a racist sexuality and a counter-racist sexuality. Why not? Come one, come all. Since you're going this way, all this fractionalization and whatnot, and all these different categories of the races, all these different categories of the genders, well, we need a counter-racist gender, too. People who, they are male with female, and that is our choice. That's the one that I'm recommending. Male with female, but with a counter-racist mentality.